Good afternoon and welcome to West Aurora High School for today's Stream Sports Midwest broadcast of West Aurora Athletics. Today, it is baseball on tap. Hopefully we can get this game in before the weather comes in. So we're going to start about 15-20 minutes early today as the Blackhawks welcome in the Yorkville Foxes for Game 3 in a row against Yorkville. Along with my partner, Mike Napolitano, I'm Aaron Schellen, and last two games have not been kind to the Blackhawks against the Foxes. Foxes have won 2 in a row by an aggregate score of 30-8. A 15-5 victory followed by a 15-3 victory. So the Blackhawks looking for something a little different today, and they got a good shot at it as they have Cooper Matheny on the mound. Cooper's 3-1 on the year, an ERA just north of 3. This is his 6th outing of the year, his 4th start. He's thrown 20 in the 3rd inning. He's given up 27 hits on the season. Struck out 21, walked only 3. That's probably the most impressive thing out of his batting line is that control, pinpoint control. Keep yourself out of big innings if you aren't walking people and putting them on base.
Yeah, Aaron, you talk about 3 games in a row against these Foxes for the Blackhawks, and you want to defend home turf, even if that means in between the raindrops today. It's 62 degrees right now. We don't really have a whole lot of wind coming in, but the precipitation is coming later in the form of rain. Not too much as of right now, 4 and 5 o'clock, but 6 o'clock, and sunset isn't until 7:38, so we may get hit with some by the end of this game. So like you said, starting early, and starting already is this game as we have our first batter.
It's 2-0 here on the leadoff hitter, Daniel Rodriguez, for the Foxes, and Rodriguez bangs it out to right. This is Chase Yusi giving run. He makes the diving attempt, and that lands foul. A long way to go over there for Chase. Comes up just short. The count is 2-1. And Mike, another point, because this game likely to be shortened via rain, it's in both teams' best interest to sort of get off early, right? Get on the board here in the early innings, in case we do have a delay in a game that's ended after 4.5 or 5. So you want to get out on the scoreboard early and hold that lead through the first couple innings.
Yeah, we mentioned that huge aggregate score line, and if you're the Blackhawks, you want to take that the other way, obviously, but both teams want a shortened slaughter rule game type here today.
I think that was called a strike 2-2. Much different than the umpire we had for the softball game on Tuesday. We're pretty far down the third base line, and we could hear that umpire clearly call strike 2 from here. Whereas on Tuesday, we had to listen intently to pick up those balls and strikes counts as that one's put in the dirt by Matheny. It's 3-2 here on the second baseman, Daniel Rodriguez. Give you the rest of the Yorkville lineup after this at bat to the second baseman, Rodriguez, and then we'll give you the Blackhawks starting defense. The payoff pitch. Hit hard down the third base line, fair past Jake Needswidge at third base, and that'll be a leadoff single here for Daniel Rodriguez. Sharply hit. Jake made a valiant effort over there at third, but came up empty for a leadoff single. So here's the rest of the lineup for the Foxes. Rodriguez batting leadoff at second. Nate Harris gets to start out in center field batting second. Cameron Yearsley will bat third, play left. Aaron Clem is today's starting pitcher and cleanup hitter. Jacob Cronshaw is the designated hitter batting fifth. Jalen Valiz will bat sixth, man the hot corner at third. Gabe Sanders bats seventh out in right field. Philip Yu does the catching, batting eighth, and Jackson Roberts is today's starting shortstop, batting ninth against Cooper Matheny. This is Nate Harris, the center fielder. Big right-hander. It's a big kid standing there at home plate.
Yeah, a little bit bigger of a strike zone. You heard that strike call, a little delayed, but that was strike one, as now they make the pickoff attempt to first. I don't think there is a rule in this league on how many pickoff attempts you get, as there is now in the major leagues. So
there is not.
They're going to be looking to keep that runner on. You got the leadoff with speed at first.
Rodriguez with a pretty good lead. Another throw over to first. He's back in safely again. Yeah, no number of throws limitations, no pitch clock, none of that stuff going on here in the IHSA.
Yeah, they didn't get him on that second attempt. That would have been in the major leagues.
That would have been it.
A base, so that leadoff man would have been at second.
You're allowed two.
Oh, that's true. The third one.
The third one, unless you pick him off on the third one,
right,
he gets second base. So you got to be darn sure you got him if you're going to make that third attempt. The 0-1 here to Harris. is down 1-1. Again, down the third base line, we are going to have some issues kind of seeing inside and out. You know, if a pitch is called, a strike on the inside portion, outside portion, but we got a good angle for up and down. 1-1 to Harris. Blocked in the dirt by Lizcano. We'll take a look here at the West Aurora defense on the infield third to first. Jake Needswidge, Elijah Campos, Emilio Ayala, and Zach Toma over at first base. The outfield, Ivan Acevedo, Mason Atkins, Chase Yusi, left, center, and right. And then Alicio Lizcano does the catching for Cooper Matheny, who's down in the count here 2-1. Top of the first. Fastball, I think, misses inside. 3-1.
Yeah, not only is the angle a little tough to see inside or outside, but if you have a third base coach standing nearby,
yeah, well, they're going to do what they do.
A little tough to see the batter in and of itself.
It's all right.
Try to get you the best angle possible here.
We overcome and adapt as that pitch is downstairs, so Harris will draw a walk, and Yorkville put the first two on here in the top of the first.
You know, Aaron, you mentioned that Matheny doesn't walk a lot of players, and it's interesting to me that he walked a guy with a much bigger strike zone than most. So that's interesting to see here, and definitely not what you want early. Can't defend against walks or home runs.
Yep, he's given up 27 hits in 20 innings, so he will get that ball put in play. This one's put in play, hits the mound, bounces into center field for a base hit. Rodriguez will come in to score. Over to third base goes Nate Harris, and three batters into the game, Yorkville has a 1-0 lead. So we talk about getting off early. Well, Foxes couldn't have done it any earlier than that. Three batters and a run.
Yeah, no outs. Dangerous situation to still be in here with runners on the corners. And the number 4 hitter coming up.
This is the pitcher, Aaron Clem. Has a very good Yorkville team. Obviously, just given what they did to West here over the last couple of days, and they jump out in front here in the first inning.
Catcher came out to give his infield some signals, and we saw the second baseman shift over just a little bit, maybe looking to that steal, but you don't necessarily want to throw it on to second with a guy on third.
And that's, I think, probably what Lizcano was talking to his infielders about. If that runner from first takes off, is he going to throw through? If he throws through, a lot of times you'll see that middle infielder cut in front of the bag to field the ball and try to get the runner who's trailing from behind. Here's a ground ball that's squibbed down the first baseline, and tagged out there is Aaron Clem, but that'll act as an RBI ground out. So Nate Harris comes in from third. Yearsley goes to second. It's 2-0 Foxes. So that was an accidental, a squib off the end of the bat, but in the box score, it'll look like a 380-foot sac fly to straightaway center, right?
It got the same job done.
That's right. Got the job done, an RBI. 2-0 Foxes.
We saw that fake throwdown to second play in one of the softball games that we covered, and then they put out was made at third with the runner not really sure if they should go at that point, but the Foxes actually get out of that situation with that squib hit here. But now another lefty at the plate, easy to hit behind your runners when you've got a man in scoring position.
And if this is Jacob Cronshaw, and if you're Cronshaw for the Foxes, you'd like to hit something over to that right side of the diamond. Obviously, you want to find some outfield grass, pick up an RBI, but at the bare minimum, you want to hit that ball over to the right side, move that runner over to third base. It's Yearsley at second with one away here, top of the first. 2 runs in already for Yorkville. Swung on and missed, 0-2.
Yeah, he's with that type of a swing right there. It looks like he's looking to pull that ball, and of course hit behind his runners, make it a little tougher for that right side, that right field over there.
No balls, 2 strikes, 1 away here in the second. The 0-2, and he got him swinging. That's a big strikeout for Cooper Matheny, his first of the game, and that'll keep Yearsley right at second base. And if you're in the Blackhawks, you can get out of this giving up just the 2 runs. You feel okay, given that the first 3 batters reached, and that's going to be Jalen Valise, the third baseman here, as Matheny looks to end this with just the 2 runs. Runner at second is Cameron Yearsley. Long look from Matheny. No, that's out. Nice, clean, clear, concise call by that umpire. Like to hear that. 1-0.
Look to see Matheny work kind of quick here with the runner on in a high set position.
Pumps that one in for a strike, 1-1.
We saw that without runners on base as well, but taking his time a little bit more to look back the runner, but you could see a little bit of the anxiousness of being in a pressure situation.
Pitch is called a strike, 1-2.
Yeah.
One balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Blocked in the dirt nicely by Liscano. We've seen that a couple of times already here in the first. Licio Liscano doing a nice job behind home plate.
Yeah, even in that last at bat, the batter thought that was a drop third strike, and with first base open, almost attempted to run down there, but Liscano made a nice play to put the tag on just in case, but I think he had that ball even from the jump.
Ground ball over towards us, and we're a little bit further up the third baseline than we normally are here at West Aurora, so our eyes are going to be a little bit more wide open than they would normally be. Normally we're a little bit further down the left field line, but here we're, I don't know, only about 20 or 25 feet beyond the third base bag.
I'm ready, Aaron.
This is the hot corner. Again, the 2-2. Hard hit into center field for a base hit, so a clutch 2-out RBI single from Jalen Veliz will give Yorkville a 3-0 lead here in the first. So taking Cooper Matheny right back up the box in Yorkville. Jumped up by 3 here now in inning number 1.
Yeah, straightened out that liner after that foul ball that came near us, and honestly, that's perfect placement. You want to go right up the middle with that. Your runner was on the move already, and that's the 3rd run of the inning.
Fastball in there for a strike to the right fielder, Gabe Sanders, the number 7 hitter here, top 1. Just good fundamental baseball from the Foxes, top of the first. Good base running. That pitch is downstairs, 1-1. Taking that extra base when given the opportunity to, and it's allowed them to pick up these 3 here in the first. We started about 15 minutes early, started about 4:15, trying to avoid the rain that's coming in here in the next hour and a half or so, and we'll hang with you as long as we can. Breaking ball is a strike, 1-2. Hopefully we can see you through to the end of the game, but if the rain comes in too hard, there's only so much we can do to keep our gear safe, so we'll let you know. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here, top 1. Matheny comes home. Nubbed at the plate, and I think they're going to say ball hit the bat twice in the batter's box. Supposed to be a foul ball.
Foxes, we got to give them credit. They've been smart on the base paths thus far, not really taking secondary leads here, trusting their hitters to be able to get the job done and move them over, especially after a couple pickoff attempts early.
1-2 again. Fouled away. And there is a car back there that might not want to stay there.
Yeah, with the price of Jeeps these days, I would not keep your windows in earshot of one of these bats.
You ain't kidding. All right, so we'll do the 1-2 pitch again. Matheny looking to get through the first without any further trouble. 1-2, that's lofted into left center field, and that'll get down for a base hit. Bounces in front of Ivan Acevedo, and the runner into third, and the throw allows Sanders to move into second base. So this Yorkville team just keeps coming. That is 4 singles here in the first. They now have runners in scoring position with 2 outs. The number 8 hitter, Philip Yu.
That was a bloop hit over into left, Aaron, and then that smart base running that we talked about before, identifying that the throw was coming over to third. It was going to be a close play if that throw was on the money, but it wasn't. Runner safe at third, and they're able to pick up second base as well.
And it was really good base running by the trailing runner and the batter, Gabe Sanders. You said it. As soon as he saw that ball was headed into towards third base, he took off for second. And now a single will score a pair here for Yorkville. Foxes 3, Blackhawks nothing here, top of the first. Belize at third, Sanders at second. Philip Yu with it's a 1-0 count. They haven't reset the scoreboard yet. There's a fastball in there for a strike. This is our first baseball game of the year. I think we had 3 baseball rainouts before we were able to get over here this year.
Yeah.
It's nice to finally get down here and be able to do a baseball game. We've had a couple of softball games in already, but this is our first baseball game of the year. 2-1. Breaking ball fouled straight back, 2-2. You can start to feel it. It feels like rain now, doesn't it? The wind has picked up a little bit, and the temperature has cooled off a little, and it just feels like rain.
I've been listening to this Yorkville bench talk about this secondary lead on third. It's a tough place to take a secondary lead because you can even see it right on camera how much of a mountain the grass is right before that lip of the infield. So kind of an awkward place. Of course, you want to be on the foul side of things.
Popped up into shallow right center field, and back to make the catch nicely is Emilio Ayala to squeeze it and retire the side. But the Foxes pick up 3. We head to the bottom of the first. Yorkville 3, Blackhawks coming up. Bottom of the first, Blackhawks find themselves in a 3-0 hole here, and this is their starting lineup this afternoon. Batting second and leading off is Emilio Ayala. Batting second is the catcher, Alicio Lizcano. Batting third, the center fielder, Mason Atkins. Carson Bance is your designated hitter. Batting cleanup, Jake Needswich is your third baseman. Hitting fifth, Zach Toma over at first. Will hit sixth, Chase Usey. Out in right field, batting seventh, Ivan Acevedo hits eighth and plays left. And Cooper Matheny, your starting pitcher, will bat ninth. And first pitch swinging, Emilio Ayala slaps a base hit to right. So the Blackhawks get their leadoff man on here in the second.
Yeah, and he wasted no time. First pitch, saw what he liked, and sent that past the diving first baseman and second baseman.
Well, we were talking about that before the game with the rain coming in. Taking a lot of pitches isn't necessarily in your best in your best interest if you're trailing here early, because we don't know how long this game's going to go for. Another first pitch swinging lined out to right center field, but making the waist-high catch is Lizcano out there in center field for the first out of the inning. 2 pitches, 2 swings for the Blackhawks. They're getting up there and they're taking their cuts today. They aren't being cheated.
You do also want some quality at bats if you want to wear down this pitcher a little bit. So it's a little bit of a give and a take because there's incoming weather, but you're down and you want a little bit better of opportunities with who you're facing on the mound.
That is Aaron Clem, the starting pitcher, and the starting defense for Yorkville on the infield. Third to first, Jalen Valise, Jackson Roberts, Daniel Rodriguez, and Cameron Yearsley over at first. Tyler Garrick, Nate Harris, Gabe Sanders in the outfield. Philip Yu does the catching. The count is 1-1 here on Mason Atkins. Mason comes in hitting .419 on the season with 8 runs knocked in. 6 doubles, 2 triples. Going to that 400 batting average, plus 400 batting average. Some lofty batting averages for the Blackhawks here at the top of their order. Mason Atkins and his .419 batting average will be followed up by Carson Bance and his .444 average here through 14 games for the Blackhawks. It's 3-1 here on Atkins. Smack to center, and that'll get down for a base hit. So Mason Atkins picks up a single to center, and the Blackhawks 2 on with 1 out here in the first for Carson Bance. Carson talked about that batting average, .444. He's 16 for his first 36 on the year. Has a home run, leads the team in RBIs with 15. So this is the young man you want up with a runner in scoring position.
He is tall, just like the man that just had that hit to center field, Atkins. Both of them have a little bit of that taller stance, and not just in height. I'm talking, you see a little bit more of a knee bend with Bance right here, but Atkins, he actually almost looked like he got taller when he swung at a pitch rather than digging in and getting into the power.
Smacked high and deep to right center field. Back on it goes Harris. He looks up and it's gone. Carson Bance to straightaway center field has tied the game at 3. A 3-run blast, his second home run of the season, and it's 3-3, bottom 1.
You know what I was going to say, too, was that he represents the tying run, and there it is.
Yeah, Blackhawks have only hit 3 home runs on the season, 2 of them by Bance, and this one he gave a ride. Second home run of the season, RBIs 16, 17, and 18, and the Blackhawks answered just like that. It's 3-3 now. This is Jake Needswich. Jake, normally, he's a starter as well, starting pitcher as well. This is only his 10th at bat of the season. He's 5 for 9 on the season. It's a good start. Good start.
It's a small sample size, but if he's putting the bat on the ball.
Yeah, you take it. You have 4 RBIs in those 9 plate appearances, so Blackhawks give up 3 in the top of the first, get those 3 right back here in the bottom of the first. Hit too short and into center field for a base hit. So Needswich picks up the 4th hit of the inning for the Blackhawks. And we've seen some offense here so far. Both teams 3 runs on 4 hits, and we're not even through an inning.
Yeah, this middle of the order for the Blackhawks has really provided here in this first inning. We talked about those more up and down batting stances, and we're going to get that with the lefty here.
And this is Zach Toma on this. Zach coming in .225 on the season, 9 for his first 40. Makes the first pitch in for a strike. Even the out to Lizcano was hit hard. That was the line drive out towards right center field. So Blackhawks getting some good swings here in the early going off of Clem. Throw to first, back in safely is Needswich.
Yeah, you can get that power even if you're not fully bent in your knees as long as you keep that weight back, and that's what a lot of these guys have done here in this first inning to put these runs on the board.
Blackhawks will run. Pitch in the dirt. They've stolen 31 bases in 14 games and only 34 attempts. So they get on, they move, and they're generally successful. That's over a 90% success rate. And generally that mark is about 75%. If you're over 75%, then it's worth stealing the base. Outside, 2-1. Under 75%, you're better off staying right where you are. They're over 90. So the Blackhawks are a running team. Needswich 1 for 1 on the season. Toma with 12 RBIs on the season, so only that .225 batting average, but 12 runs knocked in. So he's been effective when he's had opportunities. He's down in the count here, 1-2.
Blackhawks have been taking that secondary lead at first, unlike what we've seen from the Foxes on the base path.
2-2 pitch. Popped up over our head, out of play. Stays 2-2. So these two teams are just going to sit here and throw haymakers at each other until the rain comes, and then we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, and then nature will throw haymakers.
That's right. Nature always wins. 2-2 to Toma in the dirt, 3-2. We got a bat here from Zach. Fell behind in the count, 1-2. It's now 3-2. Runner at first is Jake Needswidge. Picked up a single. That was the fourth hit of the inning for the Blackhawks. Payoff pitch. And this is away for a ball. So Toma will reach with the first walk issued by Fox's pitching. Needswidge to second. The Blackhawks continue to threaten here in the bottom of the first.
Conference on the mound for the Foxes here. I don't think we're going to be seeing a pitching change, but
no.
I mean, it's very early, and you don't exactly want to lengthen this game, as we've mentioned, with the weather, and you're not in a bad position here. Tie game, and you're in a tough position in the fact that you have runners on base, but the Foxes, as we've mentioned, have gotten out of those jams before by winning the first two games against these Blackhawks, so you just want to ride that confidence here and stick with your guy on the mound.
Yeah, we talked about getting on the board early. Both teams have done it. Blackhawks are threatening. Yorkville stranded 2 in scoring position in that first inning. We'll see if the Blackhawks can pick up that fourth run here in the first. And this will be Chase Yusi. His first swing, and he hits it right to the second baseman. It hops out of his glove, and I think everyone is going to be safe on the E4. So Yusi hit it on the screws, but it's probably a catch that Daniel Rodriguez should have had over there at second base. Popped out of his glove, rolled a few feet into right field, and everyone's safe.
I think on the jump, he was in the right position to make the catch, but kind of thinking about the throw before he got the ball. And you're always taught ball first. I think he was thinking a few steps ahead, and unfortunately got away from him.
This is Ivan Acevedo, the number 8 hitter with the bases loaded, and the count's 1-0. Acevedo, 250 on the year, 7 runs knocked in. As the bases loaded, Needswidge at third, Toma at second, UC at first. One away here in the first, 3-3. Check swing, holds up nicely from Acevedo. Wanted to pull the trigger, but now he's in a hitter's count here. Or it's on the scoreboard at 1-1. Maybe that first pitch was called a strike. That one was clearly downstairs. Fastball up.
A difference I've seen between the two pitchers on the mound today is that Blackhawks ace will come set and then look at his runners, whereas Yorkville's starter will decide to look at his runners before when he's in the stretch.
Topped back to the pitcher. He will come throw it away as he tries to come home with it, and everybody will move up 90 feet. And into first goes Ivan Acevedo on the E1. So Yorkville throwing the ball around here a little bit, Mike, here in the first inning. Back-to-back errors. Blackhawks have taken a 4-3 lead, and they've got the bases loaded for Cooper Matheny.
And this is where it's tough because we haven't seen these two teams play in those first two games, but I'd like to see what happened that the score got so lopsided in favor of Yorkville, because that is not the game we're seeing right now.
No, not through one. Here's Matheny. Cooper, 389 on the season, 7 for his first 18, has 3 runs knocked in, 4 walks. He's only struck out once in those 18 plate appearances, so get something to the outfield, try to pick up Toma from third. 0-1 grounded into the hole. That'll get into right field for a base hit. Scoring will be Toma, and once again, everybody moves up 90 feet. It's an RBI single from Cooper Matheny here in the first, and the Blackhawks have put up a 5 spot. They're up 5-3, and the Blackhawks have batted around here in inning number 1. It's Emilio Ayala now who swung at the first pitch he saw. Lined a base hit into center field.
He's in a good position with the bases clogged right here.
Ayala fouls the first pitch back. Emilio came in 8 for 24 on the season. That was .333, so that average climbs here. So the Blackhawks are now up by 2 here in the first inning. Bases still full of Blackhawks. Only 1 out. 10th man to bat. In the dirt, blocked, and everybody holds smartly. Good base running there by the Blackhawks. Chase Usey over there at third. Probably could have scored, but with the success you're having here in the first, don't give anything up if you are West Aurora.
You talk about UC over at third. What I've been noticing is, of course, home field advantage comes into play, and they know how to set up with their lead down this third base line with what we talked about as it being kind of a mountain at the lip of the grass there before. The Foxes kind of didn't really know where to stand. These Blackhawks are taking, of course, the foul side, because if it hits you, you don't want to be called out, but still a little bit closer to the line.
1-1 hit in the left field by Ayala. Gets down for a base hit, and Blackhawks playing station-to-station baseball here, Mike, but it's working. Ayala's 2 for 2 in the inning. He picks up an RBI single, and it's a 6 spot for West here in the first.
Sometimes you have to manufacture the runs, and if you can find the holes in this defense, then you can exploit them and just move guys over calmly and safely.
Yep, and now it looks like Yorkville is going to get some action up in the bullpen, some right-handed action down there, and this will be Alicio Liscano. Liscano, the only out of the inning, but even he hit the ball right on the button, hit it out to right center field. The catch was made out there by Nate Harris. Alicio Liscano on the year, 267. Was 12 for 45 coming in. The 1-0 to him is in for a strike, 1-1. And if you're Aaron Clem, you absolutely want to get Liscano here because it doesn't get any easier with Mason Atkins and Carson Vance, the two 400 hitters in this lineup. You don't want them coming up with the bases full in the dirt blocked.
They've already done damage in this very inning, and you don't want that coming back around to bite you once more.
Yeah, Vance especially, a 3-run homer to center. That was the exclamation point on this 6-run inning so far for West. Chopped to the third baseman, Valiz. It gets under his glove. The throw to first, and out over at first is Liscano on the 5-6-3 a putout, but it's an RBI ground out as Acevedo comes in to score. Matheny goes over to third. Ayala down to second, and West tacks on the extra point. It's 7-3.
Yeah, you mentioned 5-6-3. The third baseman just missed on that one as he was cutting over towards the shortstop, but luckily had backup to keep that one in the infield and get the second out of this inning as Yorkville struggles to find their way to the second.
Yep, 7-3 Blackhawks with the lead. Here's Mason Atkins. He lined a single into right center field his first time up. There's a fastball for a strike, 1-1 on Atkins. If Mason reaches Carson Vance, get an opportunity to hit again. Blackhawks have sent 11 men to the plate here in the first. They've scored 7 runs. They have two in scoring position with 2 away, and the number 3 hitter, Mason Atkins, stepping in, and Mason's up in the count 2-1.
And here's that up and down batting stance that I talked about. That last pitch, he was well out in front, basically straight on his left leg. You don't want to be there. You want to have your weight a little bit further back, and he knows it as he's kind of taking some half warm-up swings as he steps out of the box.
He's in hitter's count here. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Cooper Matheny at third. Emilio Ayala over at second. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4.
Oh, not
call.
so
Nope,
quick.
Not ball 4. I took the batter's word for it. That's my mistake. 3 balls, 2 strikes called here on Atkins. And not that he was trying to show up the umpire, but my advice to young Mason here is that if it's close, you better swing.
Absolutely, especially bigger strike zone.
Well, it's a bigger strike zone when you throw your bat away like that on what you think is ball 4.
Yeah. In the mind of the umpire, it definitely expands
that strike zone a couple inches in each direction. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here to Atkins. Blackhawks looking to tack on more. They're up 7-3 in the first. If Atkins reaches, it'll be Carson Vance. 7 runs on 6 hits here in the inning. A couple of Yorkville errors have aided the cause for West. Another delay. It's a second straight step off by Clem. Also something that they're not allowed to do in the majors anymore.
Right.
Can't step off multiple times like that. Here's the payoff pitch. Breaking ball.
Oh,
called
wow.
Strike 3. And hey, I told you that strike zone gets expanded a little bit when you assume ball 4 like that. Atkins goes down looking, but the Blackhawks put up a touchdown We go to the second. Blackhawks up 7-3. Top two, Blackhawks now with a 7-3 lead. So we came out of that first inning unsure how things were going to go. Blackhawks were down 3-0 after half an inning, but they blew up for 7 runs, 6 hits, a couple of Yorkville errors, and it'll be 9-1-2 for the Foxes. First pitch swinging, Jackson Roberts pops it foul down the first base line, out of play, 0-1. So Cooper Matheny back out there for his second inning of work. Gave up 3 runs on 4 singles in that first inning. He walked 1, struck out 1, and for the Blackhawks here, you want a quick 1-2-3 inning from your starting pitcher. Get to the bottom of the second with the lead. Upstairs, a 1-1.
That was a strike.
Oh, called a strike.
Yeah.
Again, it's a delay.
Little bit of a late finger point from the umpire there. I'm not sure if he's saying it beforehand, but it is delayed like it was on Monday a little bit.
At least he's being loud enough. It's 0-2. That one bounces about 58 feet, goes to the backstop. 1-2 here on Roberts. Blackhawks 7, Yorkville 3, top 2. This is Jackson Roberts in a 1-2 hole. Matheny comes set. Black glove high, brings it home downstairs, 2-2. And it's funny, they started the game early because they wanted to get the game in before the rain came, right? And we had 10 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors in the first inning. So we're right about where we would be if this game had started on time.
Yep.
Top of the second, it's 4:52. So this is about where we would be if the game had started at 4:30. And the 1-2 pitch is lined into right center field. That'll get down for a base hit. So Matheny loses Roberts. Had him down in the count, 0-2. Count goes even. Jackson Roberts comes back here with a line drive single to right center, and here come the Foxes.
Yeah, once again, getting the leadoff man aboard, and good things happen when that's the case, especially you mentioned down in the count, making something out of nothing.
Back to the top of the order, Daniel Rodriguez. He singled in the first. He scored. Grounds it foul.
I believe that clipped his cleat.
That right foot, that front or left foot, I guess, that front left foot.
Yeah, regardless, he is okay, stepping back into the box.
You don't see a lot of body armor at the high school level like you see in the pro game, right?
No, definitely not. You maybe see an Evo shield here or there. Saw a couple of slide guards on players. You can see one on their runner on first just to protect the fingers, but even back, I should say back in my day.
Back in your day,
I'll catch myself.
5 years ago?
Yeah,
it was back in the day for you.
We didn't really have a lot of that. Maybe an Evo shield here or there. I know I didn't. Came home with some bruises.
I took a fastball in the ribs and rubbed some dirt on it. And went back out. But I'm allowed to say back in my day. I'm allowed to use those words.
I read the room, and then I still said it.
Yeah. 1-2, now 2-2 here on Rodriguez. So it'll be interesting to see if Matheny can put away Rodriguez. He had Jackson Roberts down in the count, 0-2, and lost him on a 2-2 single. He got ahead of Rodriguez 2-2, or 0-2, and now it's 2-2 on him. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. So Rodriguez standing there unsure, but I think even the umpires understand what we're dealing with today, and the message is go up there swinging, young men.
I hope they aren't just basing it on the weather and they're actually keeping a valid strike zone. But yeah, Rodriguez thought that one was inside. You saw him get brushed back from the plate a little bit, but you heard the delayed call from home plate umpire, and that one is a strike. That one brushed this new batter off, but it was
Harris. I mean,
a ball.
As long as he's calling it the same on both sides, you want to call big strike zone, call big strike zone. I don't care.
Yeah,
call it the same for both sides. Couple inches in, couple inches out, couple inches up or down. It's fine with me. It's 2-0 here on Harris. He walked back in the first inning. One away in the second. Blackhawks with a 7-3 lead. Fastball foul tipped at the plate. 2-1. 2 strikeouts, 1 walk here for Cooper Matheny so far through an inning and a third. And breeze is picking up, starting to get a little chillier here at West Aurora. It was low 60s at first pitch. It's probably dropped 5, 6, 7 degrees since then already. 2-1. 3-1.
That one is low.
I got to remember to keep an eye on the umpire for just a split second longer to make sure that I get that I get the call right. 3-1 from Matheny. Checks his swing, called a strike. 3-2 now.
Yeah, you could tell the umpire was getting ready to call that one a strike, but it's still a little bit of a delayed call there.
Payoff pitch. Grounded to the third baseman over the glove of Needswidge into left field. So tough play there for Jake over at third, but that will be a single for Nate Harris, moving Jackson Roberts to second, and Yorkville threatens again here in inning number 2. That one was ruled a hit. That'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Cameron Yearsley, hit an RBI single in the first. Oh no, excuse me, that was ruled an error. Ruled an E5. Tough ruling here. That the lip of the grass, and that ball hopped right up on Jake and went right by that left ear hole. So ruled an error. 2 on, 1 out in the second.
First lefty of the inning here for the Foxes, and we'll see if they can once again hit behind their runners.
Fastball strike. 1-1. Matheny checks the runner at second. There goes the runner to third, and there's a hit and run. Aggressive. I love the aggressive call from the Yorkville manager. 2 on, 1 out, and send them both. It's 1-2 now on the number 3 hitter, Yearsley.
Yeah, I didn't see any signs come from this third base coach for the hit and run, so I'm not sure where the signs are coming from here. It was the 2 step-offs last half inning that the Foxes needed to redo their signs with the catcher and pitcher, but not sure where they're coming from on the base path here.
The 1-2. Pitch up and away. 2-2.
Lazardo did a good job to keep that in front of him and make sure that that didn't get away, because that could have put runners in scoring position more than they already are.
So it's 2-2. Matheny to Yearsley. Pitch home, just got a piece of it at home plate to stay alive. Way out ahead of that pitch from Matheny. Conversation here between Cooper and Alicio.
Possibly trying to restructure the strike zone there, as the last couple pitches have been high and wide, and you don't want a ball getting away from you in this situation.
Well, two balls, 2 strikes, 1 away here in the second. Blackhawks looking to keep the Foxes off the board. They put up 7 in their half of the first. 2-2 pitch from Matheny. And that's outside for a ball, 3-2.
Maybe a little bit tougher to pitch to a lefty, especially when you can't really see your runners the entire time, but you also don't want a guy on third.
Here comes the payoff pitch now. And it's in the dirt. So the bases are loaded as Yearsley will trot down to first. Second walk of the game issued by Cooper Matheny, and that'll load the bases for the cleanup hitter and starting pitcher Aaron Clem. And you know he wants to redeem himself, as if you will, after that first inning where he gave up 7 runs and I feel some raindrops. So I think we are entering some danger time here at West.
Yeah, and this is a little weird.
Line drive to left. That'll get down for a base hit. We'll score a pair as moving up to second is Yearsley. In from third comes Roberts. In from second comes Nate Harris. And Aaron Clem has a 2 RBI single, and it's 7-5.
Just before that hit, as you mentioned, Aaron, the rain just starting, but it was weird. Those first couple of drops were, I hate to say this, more like flakes.
And, I don't want to hear that.
It's way too warm for that.
Too warm for that.
So now we're getting a little bit more rain. I was wondering whether or not they would make sure that they were swinging for a hit rather than the fences there, as the Foxes do need 4, but
squaring to bunt and dropping it foul is Jacob Cronshaw, the designated hitter.
You want to make sure that you don't chance anything, and this is a deep outfield, so swinging for the fences isn't always the best opportunity.
So we'll go until they decide to stop playing here in the second. 7-5. You can hear the raindrops on Mike's umbrella.
I was going to say, you might hear it a little more now.
Well, swung on and missed for a strike. That's 0-2.
Make sure the camera stays dry and pointed at the action here for you.
That's right. Rest of our gear is covered up with a towel. That's the production. It's the production value that we have right now. Grounded foul to the right side. That's no balls, 2 strikes here on Cronshaw, who struck out swinging in the first.
And Matheny, when he's pitching against these lefties, a lot has been coming low. In fact, they have been swinging at it. A couple of golf shots here. We'll see if that continues or if he can find the zone a little bit higher.
Fastball upstairs. Yearsley scrambles back into second. Cameron Yearsley at second. Aaron Clem at first. 1 away here in the second. It's 7-5. A lot of offense here so far at West Aurora. 12 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors, and we're 7 outs into the game. Another line drive to right, and that'll get down for a base hit. Hitting third and holding there is Yearsley. And the bases are loaded here for Jalen Veliz. And he had an RBI single back in the first, well, I say back in the first inning, last inning here for Yorkville.
It was really nice awareness by the right fielder to send that throw home. It held a runner at third for the Foxes and keeps this one in West Aurora's hands. But we were worried, and at least I was, if Matheny was going to come high on some of those pitches to those lefties, what would happen? I was waiting to see if he was brave enough to do so, and unfortunately for West Aurora, they make contact and get a couple more hits out of it.
Yeah, both teams have made really good contact here through just a couple of innings in the dirt. 1-0 here on Veliz. Veliz had an RBI single to left. In the first was a 3-run top of the first for Yorkville. Blackhawks put up 7 of their own in the bottom of the first, highlighted by a 3-run homer from Carson Bantz. But Yorkville comes right back here so far with 2 in the second. They've got the bases loaded, 1 out. Took something off it. Veliz swings over the top, 1-1.
That previous pitch, Matheny kind of fell off the mound, so not the best recovery after the pitch, but kind of controlled himself there and is back in what looks like a calm state despite runners on every base.
1-1. Hit to right, another base hit. will score at least one, and holding at third on the throw from right from Chase Usey, and it's another RBI single, and it's 7-6. This is a wild, wild baseball game here so far this afternoon.
Well, we did say get your runs in early.
Yeah.
And that's what both teams are doing.
That. Yeah, for sure. You got that right.
We didn't see Chase Usey unload the cannon of an arm on that one, just throwing to the cutoff at first base. But he's been really nice at keeping that ball in front of him and deciding to throw home to keep runners from crossing the plate.
Yeah, he's been busy out there and right. Unfortunately, all the outfielders have been. First pitch swinging off the bat of Gabe Sanders is rolled foul, 0-1. Sanders singled in the first. He was stranded at second as Yorkville stranded runners at second and third in that three-run first.
Another lefty for Yorkville.
Feeney comes home with the 0-1. No, that's out. 1-1 the count. Clement third, Cronshaw at second, Valise at first. This is Gabe Sanders, the lefty. One. Grounded back to the pitcher, Matheny. He'll come home with it and retire Clem on the 1-2 fielder's choice. So nicely done fielding his position, Cooper Matheny. Cronshaw will move to third. Valise will move to second. Sanders will replace down at first, and that'll be Philip Yu now. It's the ninth man to bat in the inning for Yorkville, and Blackhawks would love to get out of this second inning with a lead. Have to get through Philip Yu to do it.
Lazar behind the plate had thoughts of throwing down to another base to get the double play, but realized he didn't want to throw that ball around. They got the out at home, the lead runner. Just kind of take the money and run on that play.
Yeah, I think it was more of a fake throw down to first. See if you can get that.
Yeah.
See if you can get that runner
Thinking.
hung off a third. Yeah, it's 0-1 here on you. Through the wickets and in from third comes Cronshaw. Over to third goes Valise. Down to second goes Sanders on the pass ball, and 7-7 here in the second inning.
Yeah, it's a tough way to give up the tying run, of course, after that really nice play we just described. But that one sneaks perfectly through the legs of the catcher, and here we are in a tied game once again.
5-hole.
Yeah.
We're both hockey fans. That puck absolutely went 5-hole on Alicio Liscano. Popped up. Over for it is Toma, and he'll make the catch in foul territory to retire the side. But Yorkville scores 4. We're through an inning and a half. Each team has a touchdown. New pitcher for Yorkville here in the bottom of the second is the righty Carter Schaffner. So Aaron Clem went an inning, gave up 6 hits, 7 runs. 4 of them were earned. He walked 1, he struck out 1. He gave up the long home run to Carson Bance, who is stepping in now in what's now a tie ball game. Each team scored a touchdown, kicked the extra point. It's 7-7 here, bottom 2. Bance with that big hit, a long fly, just slightly towards right center field. But for all intents and purposes, it was a straightaway center field shot from Bance. First pitch is away for a ball. So Blackhawks come into this inning all square at 7. They came into the bottom of the first down by 3. Sent 12 men to the plate in that first. Bance swings at the high fastball, fouls it straight back. Carson came in 16 for 36 on the season, so that average up over 450 now with a couple of home runs and 18 RBIs in just 14-plus games. Kid's having himself a season. He's also walked 10 times. Checks his swing there. It's an on-base percentage approaching 600.
That's incredible.
that's pretty good.
Really good numbers.
That's pretty good, yeah. You had that on-base percentage anywhere close to 400, never mind 600. You're doing things well.
You mentioned his home runs after he hit that one today, and he doesn't have the most, but I imagine that slugging percentage is pretty high up there as well.
That's over 600 on the season. He had 3 doubles with that 1 home run. Now he's got 2 on the season. The 2-2 pitch. Upstairs, 3-2. So Blackhawks could have had more in that inning as well. They had runners at second and third with their number 3 hitter, Mason Atkins, up in a 3-1 count. And Mason took a couple of close pitches. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Throws the fastball by Bance. So 1 out here in the second inning.
That was a really nice hack, and he knew it as he missed that one just barely. But if he would have connected with that one, we could have been looking at another hard-hit ball.
Another one. Here's Jake Needswich. Jake singled and scored in the first. Starting third baseman for the Blackhawks here this afternoon. Takes the pitch downstairs.
Now we've got 1 out here in the second inning, bottom of the second. And as you mentioned earlier, Aaron, if we would have started this game on time, I think we still would have been here at this 5:15 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, we started the game about an hour ago. We're not even 2 innings in now. 14 runs, 14 hits, 3 errors will do that for you. Looks like we're going to get some action down in the West Aurora bullpen as well. Pitch is downstairs.
This new pitcher has more of a normal set position, a little bit lower at the stomach than up high like the Blackhawks pitcher, or quick like his starter today for the Foxes.
3 balls, 1 strike. Called the strike on the inside corner.
Fouled straight back.
Out of play. Hear that ping of the bat, and you got to lift that head up right away, right?
Absolutely. Especially with how close we are today to the foul line here. Don't want that one coming right at us.
And that's called strike 3. Yeah, so back-to-back strikeouts here from Schaffner. And I'm trying to effort here West Aurora's pitcher in the bullpen. I just realized that we've got stats, but we don't have numbers next to the stats. So trying to figure out
who is who.
Yeah, who's on the mound or who's warming up. Is that ball's topped foul by Zach Toma, 0-1.
The Blackhawks have taken a lot of pitches recently. It's different from the start of the day. I talk about it like it was so many innings ago. It was a while ago as far as time goes, but we're only talking an inning ago. But towards the end of that first and here in the beginning of the second, taking a lot of pitches, there was that pitching change, so you may want to get a look at the new heat that's coming in, but a lot of it's been close, and couple of backwards-looking Ks for this home side. That one's outside, so count will move to 2-1. 2 outs here. 7-7 the score. That one outside once again. So hitters count. The Blackhawks looking to find their first base runner of the second inning.
A couple of quick strikeouts.
They had a plethora of them in that first inning.
Plethora, huh?
Yes. It was, when you bat around and what did they bat, 10 in that first inning?
Mm-hmm.
That's, I'd say, and more than that actually, right?
They sent 12, yep. Ground ball to the third baseman. Valise has it. He'll throw it across the diamond, and that's a 1-2-3 inning here for Yorkville. We go to the top of the third, tied at 7. Top of the third, and the rain has started to pick up, so we're going to go as long as we can here. Still Cooper Matheny on the mound, and he'll face the number 9 hitter, Jackson Roberts, here leading off the inning. Roberts pops it straight up, but that'll go out of play. 0-1. So each team was 7 here through 2. Yorkville with 8 hits, a couple of errors. West, 6 hits and an error of their own.
Rain really picking up now. It's our first taste of actual consistent droplets. So we just had a couple of drizzles beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to slow down from here.
I think this is what we got the rest of the evening, so we'll go as long as we can. Pitch is down and in.
We had a brief moment where the drizzles stopped.
Yeah, we were feeling pretty good about it there for a minute, right?
This rain will possibly soften up the infield a little bit more than it already is. Maybe wet the grass, but it's not enough to really make anything soaked as of yet.
Not that we need to slow the field down at all here either.
Right.
And there's a leadoff walk here from Jackson Roberts in the third walk of the game issued by Cooper Matheny, and that's a little surprising given the numbers we saw coming into action today. Only 3 walks in 20 innings.
I was going to say he's doubled his walk rate.
And he's got 3 here and 2+. Here's the top of the order. Daniel Rodriguez, the pitch is upstairs for a ball. And they're gonna do their darndest to get in 3.5, because that'll be
half the game.
That'll be half the game. So get through the top of the 4th if the Blackhawks are winning. There's a line drive into the glove of the third baseman Needswidge, and he throws it wild, but Toma makes the grab over there at first base for the first out. So nice glove down at the hot corner by Jake Needswidge for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that was a really nice snag on that line drive. It was kind of tailing away from him, which is odd because the wind is kind of, you would think moving baseballs the opposite direction, but he was able to lean over, snag that one. Got bailed out by his first baseman, though, as the throw, as you mentioned, went a little awry.
A little awry, yep. Pitch is inside. Danae Harris. Harris doesn't have an official hit. Well, he's 0 for 1. He reached on an error, but he scored twice. So, yeah, they'll do their best to get 3.5 in here. Honestly, I'm unsure if we're going to be able to get 3.5 in. We'll see how the rest of this half inning goes. Big swing from Harris, comes up empty. 1-1.
Considering the weather we had all through March, I think they will take what they can get here. We've had a couple of rainouts ourselves, and I'm sure on both the baseball, we know on the softball end of things.
Popped up. Toma will give chase, but that'll land over on the JV field, 1-2.
Or even just some really cold days that were unplayable.
Yeah, we had some rainouts. We had some cold outs, if you will. That's 1-2 here on Harris. Matheny looking to get through the third unscathed. Blackhawks went in order in the second after putting up a 7 spot in the first. 1-2. Downstairs 2-2.
And we mentioned this before the game, Aaron, but I believe home plate and that area around it, you could tell it's a different color from the infield. I believe that is turf in that dish
batter's circle
area, batter's boxes. And
hit high in the air to center field. Atkins is there, though. He'll circle underneath it, make the catch for the second out of the inning. So off the bat, look good, but a lot of outfield space here at West Aurora. This is a really, really big outfield. I don't know if you can see it out in left center field. It actually juts back by the flagpole. So you get a huge, huge space out there in center field. You can't really see it from the angle that we're at, but the fence comes in and then it juts back out in center field, kind of like the triangle at Fenway Park.
Yeah, that is very weird.
This is Cameron Yearsley. He's 1 for 1. He's singled, scored a couple of runs.
But yeah, this home plate area won't get as muddy with the rain, so it's going to be a different texture than the infield. Probably making, I'm not actually sure, I think the balls would come off a little bit slicker with the catcher with a little bit of rain on that turf rather than stuck in the mud.
Pitch is a strike, and this is a huge inning for the Blackhawks. As I mentioned, the goal here is to get through 3.5, so get through the top of the fourth inning. So if you're the Blackhawks and you can come out next day, if you can shut down Yorkville here in the third, you can get a run on the board in your half of the third. If you can shut them down in the fourth, you can walk out of here with a rain-shortened victory.
Rain has let up again,
a little
surprisingly.
A little bit. We're gonna stay prepared, though. We're gonna stay vigilant. We're gonna keep the gear dry so that we can continue to keep this broadcast going as long as humanly possible. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here on Yearsley. 2 away in the third. Runner at first is Jackson Roberts. The 1-2 swung on and missed. Having to play it down at first is Liscano. He does. So that is the third strikeout of the afternoon for Cooper Matheny. 2-3 on the putout, and Yorkville does go quietly here in the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the third, still square at 7. Bottom of the third inning, 7-7. Yorkville and West Aurora Blackhawks scored 7 runs in the bottom of the first. They went down 1-2-3 in the second, and they'll send up UC, Acevedo, and Matheny here in the second against Carter Schaffner, who, with all the offense, looked pretty good in that second inning. Couple of strikeouts, set the Blackhawks down 1-2-3.
He's had quite a big day in right field thus far, but also, along with West Aurora, a nice day at the plate.
He hit a line drive to the second baseman, Rodriguez, that hopped out of his glove, and he reached on what was ruled an E4 and then eventually came around to score. And, yeah, he's been really busy out in right field defensively here as well.
You can see his weight back on that right foot, exactly where you want to be waiting for that pitch. And that one, of course, not in the zone as it gets past the catcher and hits the backstop, but he's ready to go here.
It's 3-0 here on UC. Going to draw that leadoff walk. And it's called a strike. It's the third or fourth time we've seen that from both teams where they're expecting ball 3, ball 4, and they aren't getting it.
He didn't quite throw the bat on that one, but was very surprised.
And this time he twists away from the pitch, and that'll be ball 4. So UC will go down to first with that leadoff walk. So the Blackhawks have the leadoff runner on here in the bottom of the third. And UC on the season 4 for 4 in stolen bases. I did mention the Blackhawks like to run. They've stolen 31 bases in 34 attempts. And now might not be a bad time with the weather coming in and trying to get that next run, trying to take a lead here as we go into really what's going to end up being late innings in this game. Called a strike, a bit of a late call on Ivan Acevedo. He also reached on an error his last time up. That one was by the pitcher who was trying to throw to home plate. He threw the ball over the catcher's head. Squaring to bunt, pulling it back to throw to first and back in safely is UC. So it's 1-1 here on Ivan Acevedo. It'll be Acevedo followed by Matheny. If anybody reaches, Emilio Ayala, who's had a good day at the plate, a couple of base hits already.
Wondering if that bunt was just to get the infield thinking and see how they would react with a man on first. It didn't seem like they were going to go anywhere. But
squares to bunt here. Nice bunt drop down by Acevedo, fielded by Schaffner, and that's a high throw, and beating the throw out is Acevedo. So that should go down as a sacrifice and an E1. UC will go down to second. Are they going to go? I'm looking to see what they put up on the scoreboard, if they put up a hit or if they just rule it a sacrifice.
It may just be an infield hit because I didn't see much of an error other than the fact that it was late.
Ruled an error. E1. Yep.
Well, there you go. Okay,
so
yeah.
Sack bunt and an E1 on the pitcher gives the Blackhawks 2 on with nobody out here. Matheny squares to bunt. He'll pull it back at the high pitch. So Matheny 1 for 1. He had an RBI single in the first.
Yeah, more high than late. I should correct myself there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good bunt attempt, but the pitcher, Schaffner, just didn't have anything behind the throw. It was weird. He sort of lobbed it into first base, and it allowed Acevedo to beat it out. Chopping at the bunt. That'll go foul. Bunt, you want that bat square to the baseball, and Cooper that time, you could see that bat was almost vertical by the time he made contact with the ball. So try to get that bat horizontal to home plate, catch the ball with the bat, and just deaden it at home plate.
We may see another bunt attempt here. Runners at first and second. The infield hasn't moved.
And they're going to say he went. So the pitch inside, and Matheny sort of trying to jackknife out of the way, ended up offering at the pitch. So
that time we did see Yorkville's first baseman moving in. Third baseman still playing behind the base path, so they're worried a little bit more about the runners than the actual bunt. And, of course, here they'll be swinging.
1-2. Hit to center, and that'll get down for a hit. Hitting third is UC. He'll hold up, and the Blackhawks have the bases loaded here with nobody out in the bottom of the third inning and the top of their order coming up. And, Mike, I can't stress it enough. With this weather coming in, I doubt we're playing a full 7, so you're the Blackhawks. You got to take advantage of these opportunities. This will be Emilio Ayala, who's 2 for 2. A couple of singles, an RBI, and a run scored out of the top of the order.
Yeah, this would definitely be the time to capitalize and possibly get that go-ahead run.
Got a pinch runner over at first base for Cooper Matheny. I've got a third baseman, a runner on third, a pitcher, and a first baseman in between me and that runner at first, though, so I couldn't tell you who it is.
Yeah.
I'm in the worst spot, I believe.
That's number 22.
And it's going to be Caden Williams down at first base for the Blackhawks, I think. I'm going to confirm that information here because it stopped raining, so I can look at the roster now. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Lefty at the dish.
Yep,
so
that is Caden Williams over there at first base. Big, tall senior, 6'3". Hit in the air to center field. Back on it is Harris. He'll settle underneath it, make the catch. Tagging from third is UC. Going into third is Acevedo, and smartly into second is Caden Williams. So the Blackhawks pick up the lead on the sac fly to center. The RBI for Emilio Ayala is his 6th of the season, his 2nd of the game. And the Blackhawks now with an 8-7 lead and 2 runners in scoring position.
And we are getting an out call from the umpire at second base saying that they did not tag up properly.
Yep,
so
Ivan Acevedo is out at third on the, I don't even know what you would call that. That's an opposition challenge. He left too early, so he's out at third base.
Be an 8-5-4 put out as they didn't tag properly.
So Caden Williams at second with 2 outs now, and the Blackhawks got 1 run in. The ball hits the home plate umpire, and Williams will make it into third safely.
And that home plate umpire in a little bit of discomfort there as that one really clipped him. I don't think the catcher got much of that one as it went behind the plate there.
It bounced through the legs of the catcher, Philip Yu, and caught the umpire. He's holding that left shin.
He did well to get out of the way, though, as the play was still alive. Didn't really affect the catcher from throwing down to third. They just did not have the ball. And as you mentioned, the Blackhawks able to take another base. So that out at second from the improper tag doesn't affect them too much other than 1 fewer out to work with as they now have a man on third all the same.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously you'd rather have second and third with 1 out, though. So,
right.
You know, it is a big out. It was a potential for another big inning for the Blackhawks, so they're going to need a 2-out hit here from Alicio Liscano to keep it going in the third. Bottom of the third, Blackhawks with an 8-7 lead. It was 3-0. Yorkville after half an inning. Blackhawks scored 7 in their half of the first. Yorkville would score 4 in the third. Each team then went scoreless in their next at bats, and then here in the bottom of the third, the Blackhawks have broken the tie. A sac fly to center from Emilio Ayala. And that'll bring up Liscano, who's 0 for 2. He has an RBI back in the first as well. Fastball is upstairs, and the speed of Caden Williams is something to keep in mind. Caden on the season only has 3 official plate appearances, but he has 5 stolen bases. So he's got some speed. If that ball gets away from the catcher at all, you may see him jet for home.
Well, considering he's been thrown in a pinch running situation, you got to imagine that a lot of those stolen bases are times like this where he's been called upon to do just that rather than bat and get on base.
3-0 here on Liscano. And it's 3-1 now.
Infield back in the middle. Pretty much squared away at first and third on the corners.
Upstairs, and that will draw a walk. So the Blackhawks right back with runners at the corners now with 2 outs for the number 3 hitter, Mason Atkins.
This is an interesting situation to look at, Aaron, because you've got first and third, and of course we talked about the opportunity to steal second beforehand in this game. But if they throw down, we talked about the speed of number 22 here right on third. And do you risk a man with 5 stolen bases on the season possibly heading home 90 feet away?
We're going to have a pitching change here in the third, so we're going to take a quick break and figure out who that is, and we'll come back and we'll let you know. Blackhawks with a 1-run lead here in the third. Bottom 3, and it's a lefty. This is Liam Fenney coming in for Yorkville with runners at the corners and 2 outs. And Mason Atkins at the plate. Mason's 1 for 2. He singled, scored a run in the first, struck out looking on a controversial strike 3 with runners in scoring position in the first inning. So the runner at third base is Jaden Williams. The runner at first is Alicio Liscano. So we're going to have a lefty-righty matchup here with 2 away in the third. Blackhawks with a 1-run lead, looking to add on as it's getting dark here at West Aurora. Mike and I were talking in between that break that we may see an end to this game due to darkness rather than rain, because the rain is let up here. It's not really raining at all right now.
Catcher came out to give those signs, and we saw the same signs that they gave when there was first and third in the first inning, but we didn't get a chance to see what that actually means because the inning was over before, or actually, I'm sorry, that situation was over before we could get a chance to see what the catcher was signaling.
That is a really late call by the home plate umpire, but it's 0-1 here on Atkins. 1-0 to the Blackhawks center fielder. Upstairs, 1-1.
No, that was a strike.
It's called
there.
A strike as well?
Yeah, that
okay.
It's a really late call there, but of course, we talked about Atkins' big strike zone, and I think the ump has made it even larger throughout this day.
That home plate umpire has expanded this strike zone. So 0-2 on Atkins here. Fastball, no. 1-2.
Looked about knee height, and the umpire stepped back, and I almost thought he was going to give the signal on that one as well.
I'm gonna have to just stare at the umpire until I'm sure he's done with his call.
Transfixed.
Yeah, 1 ball, 2 strikes here on Atkins. Pitch home, pops it foul. Stays 1-2.
We have not really seen West Aurora deciding to take that second base there. The infield tight in the middle as far as shortstop and second base goes, kind of holding that runner and to thinking that the throw may come down there, but we don't know if they will chance that.
Line drive into right center field for a base hit. Hitting third and scoring easily as Williams. On to third goes Liscano. And it's an RBI single for Mason Atkins here in the third. That's a big additional run for the Blackhawks here in the third inning as they've expanded that lead just as the rain starts to pick up again. The bases now have Blackhawks on first and third with 2 outs and Carson Bance. Carson already with a home run, and you can hear that rain again falling on the umbrella that Mike's holding over our camera.
Bance getting the signals from his third base coach, and once again a first and third situation, but the outfield back now for the big hitter.
The rain is coming down as hard as it has all day, and if it stays like this, we're going to have to call it. We're going to try to get through this third inning here, but it's coming down hard now, folks.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an option for much longer.
Nope. Pitch to Bance is lined into center field for a base hit, so that'll be an RBI single from Carson Bance. And I think, folks, that's going to do it here for our broadcast from West Aurora. Blackhawks are up now 10-7 with 2 outs in the third, and we are in the middle of a torrential downpour. So we're going to go ahead and call it here. We apologize, but got to keep the gear safe for future broadcasts. Blackhawks up 3, 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Thanks for watching. Stay dry, everybody. Take care.